All right, so now we're going to switch over to our final speaker who's going to talk about our other select program, which is new media arts. And so I know there's a bunch of you folks who have students who are interested in that program as well. And so um, take it over, Steve. It's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Sheldon. Hi, everyone. I'm going to, so you don't have to look at my face, I'm going to show a presentation because I think the student work speaks better than I can. So let me just share my screen here. Okay, and if you have questions, feel free to ask anytime using chat or whatever is most comfortable. Because I know sometimes it's hard to remember at the end. Okay, so yeah, the New Media Arts program at KCC, we have two tracks. We have the animation track and the interface design track. We're really meant to prepare students for preparation for careers in these fields. So the programs are very intense, 2-year cohorted programs, meaning that it's the same students. Once they get into the program, they take the same classes together for 2 years. In the animation track, the students learn concepts of animation principles, storyboarding, modeling, surfacing, rigging, lighting, rendering, digital compositing, video editing, sound editing, and sound design, and motion design, motion graphics, visual effects. And they learn the software, Adobe software, the whole Creative Suite, Maya, Mudbox, Mental Ray, Nuke, and Houdini. And then on the interface design side, students learn the concepts, the basic elements and principles of design, typography, identity design, package design, layout, information architecture, UI and UX, which is user interface design and user experience design, front-end web coding using HTML, Java, and CSS for design purposes, and principles of motion graphics and motion design. I just realized I can't see if there's chat. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'll continue. Okay, our program is special admission program so that students need to develop a portfolio to get into the program. So they need to take classes in the very beginning, in the year before they get into the program. So for most students coming in from high school, we tell students it's 3 years because in the first year, they have to take the prerequisite courses. The prerequisite courses that are the same for all students would be Art 101, which is Intro to Visual Arts. This is mostly a lecture class. They wouldn't have work from this class to submit to portfolio because it's mostly sketches and understanding color theory and stuff like that. And then there's Introduction to Drawing, Introduction to 2D Design, Introduction to Digital Arts, and Introduction to Photography. Those are for the interface design students. In the drawing, they learn, they have to submit a perspective drawing and a still life. Digital arts is Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and After Effects. And then I think we're the only campus in the system. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're the only campus in the system that still has traditional photography. So using traditional camera and darkroom. But students do have the option of taking digital photography classes at one of the other community colleges as well. And then English or ESL 100, we require a completion of foundation and written communication requirement for our program as well. And then for the animation students, they can actually choose, they could do the 115, but they can also choose 3D composition, which is sculpture, or 123, which is painting. Okay, and then we only have 15 spots in each track, which is the primary reason that we have the portfolio requirement, because we only have 15 computers in each cohort. And then I'll go over our programs, just kind of going over all the courses and showing examples. But these are our two programs for animation and for interface design, the way they look on our program sheets. And then we have other general education requirements, just a math or logic, natural science elective, and a social science elective. But these are not required before getting into the program. These are required to graduate. So sometimes students will take these before in the year before the program, and sometimes they'll take them during the summer or even after the program. We do not recommend during the program because the program is Before I go on, are there any questions, general questions? Okay. Okay. So on the animation side, just showing some examples. So they start off with their first semester, they take digital painting, and these are some examples in digital painting. And then they also take a digital imaging class. This class, they learn some After Effects, some video editing, and rotoscope. And I have an example of rotoscope here. This was done by Shannon Gu, who graduated 2018. So it's an overlay of the 2D and the 3D animation. And both tracks will take this digital imaging class as well as the motion graphics class, which I'll show later. Okay, this is an example of animation principles. That link is not working. Okay, so after their first semester of learning, they have three classes in Maya. The 126 where they learn basic modeling in Maya, working on a ball project, and then usually a shoe project, and then their second semester, and then their third semester. And then gradually incorporating more and more. Everything that they do is in Maya, but these are the classes where they incorporate the modeling and then everything else, the lighting and rendering and the digital compositing to make, to work on a final film.
Sorry to interrupt you, Steve. Are the
Yes.
pre-art classes available online?
Good question. Yes. We have, let's see. So 112 is offered online at several campuses, including KCC. 107 is offered online through 107D digital photography at Leeward, and we will accept that. And then 101 is offered online, but of course that's not required for the portfolio, but it's a prerequisite. Drawing and 2D design and the sculpture and the painting are not offered online. And we will not accept 113D. It's not the same class as 113. So I know that I think Leeward has a 113D, but it's very different competencies.
Oh, Steve, with regard to meeting the portfolio requirement and also the prerequisite requirement, would it be
Yes.
to advantage for a high school student to also, when they self-report their courses and grades, to include whatever art classes they have taken in high school? Like at SIG Arts, we offer graphic design 1 and 2. We offer video production.
Awesome.
We offer a whole slew of art classes. Is it would it help their case if they put all that down as part of their overall record, along with, of course, trying to meet the prereqs and the portfolio?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. So in terms of like specifically, unless it's AP credit, then not specifically for the prereq, and we would want them to take the college classes anyway. But in terms of applying to the program and meeting with me, I meet with every student individually, and I ask them about their background and about their interests, and we kind of incorporate that into the whole conversation. So absolutely, that would be highly encouraged, because that will help not only develop their portfolio, and they're very welcome to submit things that they've done in the past for their portfolio, but also to kind of help them plan for the future, because whatever they've learned in the past can help inform them of what direction they want to take. And the way I view it is like completely like a process and a path that can incorporate many different areas of new media, digital media. So if they have background in graphic design, I've met with a lot of students who have background in graphic design in high school and will want to learn more because they're already aware somewhat. So we'll go visit a class, they'll talk to faculty, they'll be more prepared when they apply to the program. Does that help?
Yes, I would imagine since you interview all the applicants, you must
Yes.
have a lot of interviews every year.
It's not so much a formal interview. We don't have that, but just I like to talk with each student. I mean, it's just part of counseling, but I like to talk to each student to make sure what they want to do. Because a lot of times we will get students who they hear new media arts and they're like, oh, I want to do this. And sometimes it's video editing and we don't have that. So a lot of times it's a program that we don't have, but that Leeward might have, or UH West Oahu or Manoa will have. And so I will actually encourage them to apply to one of those programs instead. So I'd like to make sure, because in the very beginning, when I started doing this about 9 years ago, I got students who got into the first year of the program and they're like, oh, I don't really want to do this stuff. And then I feel horrible because they've wasted all this time. So I'd like to find out early on what they're really interested in, because our programs, they're excellent, but they're very, we're career technical. So they're very specific on what we teach. Okay. So moving on. Yeah, any questions? Actually, rather than chat, I think just because, and I appreciate that, Sheldon, if you could let me know if somebody has a question, and I'll just stop because I don't think I'm able to see the chat while I'm doing this.
Would you be able to share where students are being placed after they complete the program, like production companies, stuff like that?
Yes. Yes, excellent. Okay, I can give a sample. So it's on our website. This is a little bit outdated, but so some of the design firms in Hawaii that we use for internship, students also place into these companies after they graduate. And every year in May, we have a portfolio and demo reel show where students will showcase their work, and we invite industry to come. We usually have about 200 people from industry come. This year, unfortunately, obviously, we cannot have the show on in person, but we're going to have it online. And then you can see a lot of these MVMP, wall-to-wall, Clarence Lee Design, Upspring Media. These are companies that students often work at after graduating. There's a lot more. Students who graduate from the design program usually find jobs fairly quickly. That's just the way the local design industry works. And I've spoken with a lot of designers locally who have told me that they most prefer students from, every student is different, of course. They might find an amazing student occasionally from HCC, or Communication Arts program, or from graphic design at Manoa. But most of them prefer our students because our program is all digital, and the company, and we're very skills based, and we're very broad in our instruction, so that students will learn how to do a lot of different things. And that really prepares well for local industry, because local firms are small and students have to be able to do many, many things when they work there. It's a little different when they apply to the mainland. As for animation, it's different. It's a little harder for animators. If they're willing to go to the mainland, or if they're willing to go into something that's more design related, then it's better. But we just don't have a lot of animation industry right now in Hawaii, and we haven't had. But the West Oahu has a program that students will transfer into, and Manoa's animation program is actually getting better after quite a few years of kind of dormancy in their ACM, their film program. They've just hired in the last couple of years 2 people on the animation side, and we're starting to work with them possibly into getting them to accept our animation students and waive some classes. So hopefully that will become more successful in the future. And then in the animation industry, especially, bachelor's degree is really, really important. And design side, not so much. Design industry is not as important. Okay. Okay, this is an example of film analysis and storytelling, which is storyboarding class. So the whole purpose of storyboarding is to do a frame-by-frame analysis of their story with a quick sketch and then dialogue and explanation underneath, so they can kind of break it down. It's kind of like writing a paper, and like a research paper, and breaking down how they're going to prepare that paper. This really helps in preparing them for the practicum. This is an example of a still shot in Maya. This is from the 3rd Maya class, just showing the lighting and the modeling, of course, and the compositing work that's done. This is another one. This is an
so
example.
my apologies, we've got a couple more minutes.
Yes.
But any final thoughts to prepare these counselors if they have students interested in new media arts?
The best thing I can suggest is to take as many digital media classes in high school as possible, and then always encourage art. You can never have too much drawing, you can never have too much digital media, just to explore and to find out what their passion is.
If students are interested in, say, I don't know, like visiting the lab or whatever, can they email you to sort of get maybe a deeper background about the program?
Yes, always. I'm always happy to bring students in to visit a class, to talk to students, to talk to faculty, to show them a lot of work. I reach out to all of the art students in the fall, just to kind of find out who they are, but I always encourage students to. Sheldon, how many minutes do I have left?
Like a couple minutes.
Okay, I would like to show, I didn't realize I wouldn't have as much time. I would like to show some of the design as well. So I'll go, I apologize, I'll go quickly. On the design side, typography is the way that the layout is done on websites and magazines and brochures. It's kind of fundamentals of design, logo design. They do book cover for their fundamental graphic design projects. When they learn web design, they learn coding for different platforms. And they learn package design, which is incorporating logo design plus packaging and a whole creative suite. It's really marketing design, and then some illustration.
Hi, Steve.
Yes.
This is Lisa. I would feel really like a missed opportunity to not say something about our students and them placing in the Pele Awards.
Yes.
Could you say something about that to
Yes, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
So the local advertising, state advertising awards, which are a division of the National Addies Advertising Awards, are called the Peles. And there's a college division, and the KCC students have swept for the past 5 years. It would not be overstatement to say that they've taken 60 to 70% every single year. They've won Best in Show the last 2 years. At some point, I'd be happy to, because we're out of time, I'd be happy to visit with you individually or go to your school. I go to a lot of schools during the course of the year, and I show a lot more work, and I would like to show, you know, the work from these Pele Award winners. They're quite amazing. The students do so well. You know, one of the best things I love about this program is I have the students who apply in the spring, and then they come to the show and they are in awe of what the students are doing, the graduates, and then 2 years later, they're those students. It's just unbelievable how much students can learn and develop both professionally and personally in just a couple years. But this is my contact information here, my email, and I encourage students to, I talk with, you know, parents and students, whether they're still in high school. I'm always happy to talk to students about their future plans in the arts.
All right, thanks so much, Steve, for taking time out of your busy day to talk to our listeners. So, counselors out there, any questions for Steve?
Yeah, please. Sorry for being so short.
Okay, it looks like we're good. So counselors out there, thank you for joining us this morning. We have additional 3 days. We're going to cover, not that's an actual term, like non-select programs tomorrow. And we're going to start diving into our support programs. We have a lot. I will hang around for a couple of more minutes or longer if any of you guys have questions about anything moving forward. Like I mentioned early on this morning, I think a lot of students are trying to figure out how to navigate their next steps with everything changing by the minute. And so if there are questions about, gosh, anything from applying, whatever, feel free to either throw it in the chat box or unmute yourself or email me, and we can go from there. But anything out there in the cyber world, any questions?
Well, I learned a lot this morning about all those different programs, so I appreciate this info session. You can teach all old dog new tricks after all.
I have you recorded, Randy. That's documented now, so you can't say no to me anymore. Anyone else? So like I mentioned, if for some reason you didn't sign up for the next 3 days, but would like to, feel free to do so. If you only can attend, say, only pockets of the day, that's totally fine. You can log in and out whenever you are free. Because I realize there's also virtual college fairs going on right now. So on your huge monitor of things to do, you can definitely put us there as one of them to toggle between screens if need be. But that is it for today. And as always, your folks can email me. You can email myself or Alfie. For a lot of you working with seniors, as you know, you can always email Alfie or myself for an updated list of who applied to KCC of your class of 2020. And we will support them along the way. Just FYI, there is a bunch of seniors who are already going through the new student orientation process, which has been wonderful. Questions about the health documents, just know that the Department of Health is mindful of the limited access to medical professionals. And so we are kind of delaying when the shot records need to be submitted. So students can still apply. They can still go through the orientation. They can still select their classes while waiting for their shot records. And just a reminder, it's now MMR, TB, Tdap, which is the tetanus shot, and then varicella, which is chickenpox. And so I think many of them had those shots done when they were small, but it's maybe just kind of digging it out. I remember actually this morning I had an email from a parent who couldn't get copies of their health document through email. And so I guess maybe just talk to your family physician to see what records are accessible. I'm trying to work with our high schools to see if we can get access from their health centers. And so we're trying to explore all options to get these necessary documents in. And also, like what I mentioned earlier on this morning, AccuPlacer may soon be online on a appointment basis, but the details have not been rolled out yet. And so I'll be sure to let you guys all know once that is a option for students, because there is a need. We have a lot of returning adults, and that session is, I think, in the next couple of days, who have not been in high school for X number of years, who really need AccuPlacer to start their college career. So it is a need that we're trying our best to address. And so more information about that coming up hopefully in the near future. I was told last week that they're working on it, and hopefully they'll unveil it hopefully this week. But of course, I'll let you folks all know. All right. If there's not any more questions, I'll hang around. Feel free to end the meeting once this is done. I'll post this on